When you see this, what do you think? It's probably something like, "Oh, I love pandas. They're very cute. They eat bamboo all day and sleep. I wish I was a panda." Or maybe you think, "Oh, it looks like Kung Fu Panda. Very cool." But that's because you're a normal person. But I'm here to tell you that there are higher ranking diplomats and politicians, both inside and outside China, that view this animal not as a cute fat bear, but as a geopolitical tool to further China's interests. You might think, well, that's crazy. And to that I say, yes, it is. So let's understand it. 60 years ago, for the first time, China started giving out its pandas as diplomatic gifts. We make a trade deal, you get a panda after that to celebrate. We share technologies, you get another panda to celebrate. This sort of practice is not really rare. Even today, countries often give each other exotic animals as symbols of friendship and so on. The really interesting thing happened a few decades ago. In the 80s, China realized that all the pandas it previously gave away had an extremely hard time reproducing. Even now, it is quite difficult for pandas outside of China to have baby pandas. And then they were thinking, okay, guys, people love pandas, they're sort of our symbol, they're very cute. Wouldn't it be cool if we controlled not only the pandas here today, but every panda that will ever be born? From now on, we'll never give them away as gifts, we'll rent them, and any baby panda will belong to us. That way, we could keep all the pandas forever. Maybe here it looks like I'm calling them out, but it's very understandable. Like, I like pandas. Who wouldn't want to control all the pandas? Honestly, China, I would do the same. And the plan worked. Right now, China controls all the pandas and their offspring. The babies, once they grow up, will often be called back to China. There is one exception. Mexico got its first pandas in the 70s as gifts before this policy. And the Mexican zoo was the only place that managed to actually have success with breeding pandas. So even today, they have two healthy adult pandas, the only two in the entire world that are not owned by China. So, way to go, Mexico! Many have tried, but you're the only country that managed to challenge China's panda supremacy. And I know what you're thinking. Okay, YouTube person, I understand why I can't own a panda, but how can I rent one with the Chinese government? Well, basically, there are two conditions. Oh, don't worry about it. It's really easy. You only need to do two things. First, be very friendly with China. So get ready to spend your days talking about how China is great and everything they do is justified and correct. So basically, be like Hollywood companies when they want to get access to the Chinese market. The second thing you need to do is be economically significant to China. You can start by signing trade deals that will be important to the world's second largest economy. So simply supply them with semiconductors or something. Yeah, that would work. If you manage to fix the semiconductor shortage in China, you're sure to get a panda. And after that, all you need to do is pay between half a million and $1 million every year. So actually, it's free things. And all of this must sound quite ridiculous, and it is, but it does have its uses. Quite a lot of research papers were written on this exact topic. So if you're wondering why I spent hours researching it, well, keep in mind that someone spent hundreds of hours doing it. That will make me feel better about the way I spend my time. And all of this panda diplomacy actually has one use. Experts actually observe who China gives pandas to because they serve as symbols. If the country gives you a panda, that signals an improvement in your relationship, usually. And if it takes one away, then that can signal that it disapproves of something that you have done. Here's an example. In 2009, Obama met with the Dalai Lama, a person that China considers their enemy. Of course, they weren't happy with the meeting taking place, and soon they recalled two of their pandas, signaling that the relationship between the two countries suffered. And the really interesting thing is that China never officially gives a reason for recalling the pandas, but it's always obvious. So it's a sort of passive aggressive diplomacy. And this story can get even more ridiculous. This is Nancy Mace. She was elected in order to represent hundreds of thousands of people and fight for their interests. And how does she do that? By passing laws that will improve the economy, education, healthcare, or that will make everyday life more fair? Well, not really. She is pushing through a resolution that will declare that the opinion of the United States Congress is, and yes, I'm serious, that the United States should either steal pandas from China or find a way to breed them themselves, together or with their allies. And the resolution is called Promoting Animal Naturalization and Democracy Act. And if you're thinking those are just random words put together, you're right. And I have this very funny image in my head of these very smart, well educated people in suits that work directly for Nancy, and they're spending hours and hours trying to figure out a sequence of words that spells panda. Because that's what they were told to do. And this is the best they came up with. And you know why I did this video? It's not because I think this issue is crucially important. It's not even because I needed a break from that difficult East Timor video. It's actually because I wanted to show that the people in charge of diplomacy and international relations are not these IQ 500 mega geniuses, but that our diplomats are actually often quite childish and somewhat ridiculous. And personally, I wish that one day we will live in a world where a panda can simply be a cute fat bear without the need for it to be a diplomatic tool. This is the part of the video where I would ask you to subscribe, but I actually want to thank you first. I've just reached 200 subscribers, and yes, I know that that is nothing by YouTube's metrics, but to me personally, it means a lot. I make these videos by myself, and since I have a job, it honestly takes away a lot of my free time. But the fact that there are people like you that are willing to watch them and maybe find them interesting, that gives me the motivation to keep doing this, even when it's difficult. And look, if you want to support me and my small channel, you can subscribe and then press this button. That will mean that you will be able to see my videos when I post them in the future. And here's another reason to do it. Look, Nancy has 700 subscribers. Imagine if in time together we could get more. To me, that would be amazing. And she is a United States member of Congress representing almost a million people. And maybe one day she will see this video and hear our message. Nancy, please go and do something important for your people and stop trying to steal pandas. So, as I was saying, consider subscribing and pressing this button. Now, if you want to make sure that I actually make stuff that is interesting, here's a video I did on the time Australia was very, very evil towards its small, defenseless neighbor. Now, if you think I criticize Nancy too much for wasting her time and power, wait till you hear what I have to say about someone that is actually evil, like Alexander. You can find out who he is in the video. Or maybe you're looking for something light-hearted. In that case, you can check out a video about that time that a grandma killed Armenia's entire internet and became, in my mind, the world's greatest hacker.